Hi guys, how are you? Welcome back. Trying to see if I can get rid of this glare. I don't think I can, but we're just gonna have to rock with it. So Married at First Sight, y'all. Why is it so beautiful already? Like that doesn't make any sense to me. Like why is it so beautiful? Like I was like, oh, I'll just give it a couple weeks, maybe it'll even out. But like my impression of these couples is that half of the people wanted to be on TV, the other half were desperate to be married, and a third of them don't know who they are, so they don't really know what they want. So I think I'll start off with Elijah Wan and Katina. So for me, I don't really like either one of them. Um, I feel like they both are for the streets in my opinion. I think they both, like the party life, I'm gonna do, whatever, like, let me just live my life and be free, right? Hold on 1 second. Now it's like giving me trouble here. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. But for me, I didn't really care for them. I didn't really care for anything either one of them had to say. They both are for the streets, in my opinion, which may work out in their benefit. I feel like if they both can leave like the party girl, party boy ways. But I also feel like it's going to be another like Zach and Michaela, but they're both going to be Michaela. Like neither one of them know how to back down. Like, for instance, when they were on the plane, the thing with Lindsay, and I'll get to Lindsay's fault in a minute. Like, Elijah One, he knows how he's going to be perceived as a black man. Why would you let her have that narrative? I now feel unsafe. No, baby, you just drunk and you work on everybody's nerve and you don't know how to read social cues. It's just as simple as that. And for me, I just I don't really care for Mark and Lindsay, but back to Lajuan and Katina, I don't think they're going to make it because neither one of them are ready to be married. She is not his vision of a wife, and he is not her vision of a husband. And to me, Elijah Wan reminds me of the corny dude that has a nice body. Because, I mean, he's not really that good looking in the face, in my opinion, but beauty is subjective. I think he has been able to skate by on his looks and his light skin privilege, and he's been able to get the girl, but not really keep the girl because he doesn't have long term. And I like the fact that Katina's friend didn't let up off his neck. I thought that was great. I thought it was great that he didn't let Elijah Wan smooth talk his way. And I kind of feel like, looking at the previews of like how he goes at Dr. Pepper, he doesn't like correction. He doesn't like criticism. And so when you have those two things in a person, nothing they ever do will ever reach full fruition because they don't understand that when people are trying to correct you, it's not sometimes because they are envious or they're low down or they are have a negative way of doing things. It's that they genuinely want to see you do well and see you do better. And I feel like he doesn't necessarily, excuse me, my allergies acting up, he doesn't necessarily understand that sometimes you don't have to talk so much. Like sometimes just be in a space and be quiet. And I love how her mom kind of played him to the left and was like, "Is that a rabbit?" And then she just dipped it on him. Like I thought that was funny. But I did like how they were like on one accord. They were lockstep. Like she didn't let Lindsay like try to like make a narrative out of him. So I did appreciate that. Katina is petty. And she now doesn't like Lindsay. So anything Lindsay says or does is gonna be just, you know, the worst ever. The like just it is what it is. And so, that's just one of those things where it's like, oh goodness, like what are you gonna do? And so for me, I feel like this. I feel like They're not going to be long term. They may say yes on decision day, but I don't give it 6 months, 6 months to a year, and they're going to be done. And I don't think it'll be on her account. I think it'll be because he cheats. But I also feel like she low key cheats as well. Like, the preview show her messaging some dude or some dude messaging her. And so, he may surprise us and pull a Woody, because everybody swore Woody wasn't ready for marriage, but he actually was. So we don't know. We'll see. I'm still like 50-50, possibly no on them. So let's talk about Mark and Lindsay. Mark and Lindsay, she's working on Mark's last nerve. Um, and the fact that her father did not stop her negative behavior as a child, now she now cannot form adult relationships that are long lasting and sufficient because nobody wants to deal with somebody like that. Like, she's rude, she's abrasive, she's nasty. Like, if you watch the after show, Elijah One told Keisha Knight pulling like the full story, like the way she retold it was making her seem like a victim. And in reality, it was simply that she started off throwing shade and talking dusty to this man, and then he got tired of her nitpicking, tired of her picking, and so he let her have it. And my thing is, you want to say, oh, this is the native land. Puerto Rico is a territory of the United States. English is spoken there as well as Spanish. It is a U.S. territory. Now, do I think it would be courteous to speak Spanish? Absolutely. But I also feel like it can sometimes be perceived as an insult when you try to speak Spanglish or rusty Spanish to people that are native speakers, and it's like now you're just trying to put on a facade and fake. So I think she just overstepped her boundaries there. I think it was shady how Mark said, I can't wait to see her asleep. Because pretty much he's saying he's sick of her talking, he's sick of her being on 10. I feel as though Lindsay and Mark will not make it, and it will be 85% Lindsay and 15% Mark. And the reason I say that is because Lindsay needs to go to therapy. She reminds me of Virginia from the Atlanta season. She compensates for her mother treating her horribly and not being there for her by drinking, by cutting other people down. Like her dad even said, she can be vicious with her words. You're gonna have to be a lion tamer. Like, it's cute when you're like 4 and 5, but when you're 35, it's not cute anymore. Like, you need to get some help. You need to seek some therapy. And so, to me, I don't see them working. I don't see them being anything more than what they are now. I think he's just so happy to be married and so happy to have somebody that he'll play yes man. But if her last relationship is any indication of how she was left, a few days before the wedding, was that her? I think that was her. It might have been Liz, but I feel like it was her. I think Mark will do the same thing. They will divorce because she is the type, if she does not get her way, she pouts and storms off and has attention because when he told her to calm it down, she's like, well, when I fall back, I fall way back. It's like, I'm going to bully you into accepting who I am as a person. That's not how you do things. You don't bully someone into accepting you. You make compromises, you talk, you listen, you have an exchange, and you get to know one another. And so it's horrible to me, in my opinion. um I really don't have much for them. I don't think they'll make it. Who else is left? Steve and Noy. um Steve don't got no job, but I don't think Steve is broke, because I mean, sales engineers, they make well into the six figures, and if he is a man that is frugal with his money, that invests, saves, spends wisely, then I don't see why he can't work. And some of those consulting jobs pay more than a yearly salary. So I do think that it was just of the Asian culture to ask, how are you going to provide? How are you going to support? And so while she says it doesn't bother her, it bothers her because she is someone that is used to a W 2 that's a punch in, punch out. And sometimes punch in and punch out don't make you what a consulting job can make you. And anyone that can travel for 4 months and not work obviously is not that broke. So And I think he wanted to like reassure her that he had money, but I don't think he really wanted to talk about it on camera because it kind of seemed like he was a little bit, well to do on the money front. But I don't know for sure. I think based on the previews, I don't really think they're gonna work out. I think she's gonna get in her own way. I think she's gonna self sabotage her relationship. Um, I do think her brother was a little bit much dressing up at the brunch, but I think it was a test to see could Steve handle his lifestyle, which, in my opinion, he doesn't have to handle your lifestyle. He didn't marry you, he married your sister. And I get the whole when you marry the person, you marry the family. Well, that's where boundaries come in, that's where rules and regulations come in. I can disagree with you and still care for you and still be nice to you and be respectful and love you with Christ. That does not, however, mean that I have to just be gung ho about everything that you are. But he seemed to really, take it in stride, and I respected him for that. I will say I don't think they're gonna make it. As of this point, I'm not really feeling them. So who I went over? I went over Elijah one, Lindsay, Stephen Noy. Okay, so let's go to Jasmina and Michael. Um, Michael is a mama's boy or a sister's boy. I think he's gonna be very much a temper tantrum. I think he's very much gonna be a I'm gonna talk to you slimy kind of a way. But I also feel like Jasmina is kind of like giving me Alyssa vibes, low key. She's just more. Oh, I'm sorry, she's just more subtle with it. Um, because there's just things that like she says and does that I'm like, I don't really know if this is gonna work for you. I don't really know if this is gonna, pan out. And he is always so negative. And I think, that really stems from the amount of trauma that he's been through. Both parents are deceased. His only brother was murdered. And so it, when you have that kind of trauma in life, you either kind of go one of two ways. You either don't accept love in your life at all, or you may possibly trauma bond. But one thing about your mentality is that you are always expecting the worst because the worst has always happened to you. And so you expect the worst so that when it happens, you're not so let down, you're not so hurt. And so I think it's going to be really just it's gonna be a show for sure. I'm excited to see what happens with them. I don't think they'll make it long term. I think they both have a lot of growing to do, a lot of compromising to do. And I don't think either one of them are going to be willing. I think he is also like Elijah one in that he has a viewpoint of what a wife should be, but yet he's never seen that happen in his life. And that's what kills me the most is like you can like for from Atlanta season Eric, you could kind of give him a pass because he did see the Leave It to Beaver 1950s housewife lifestyle. So that's what he knows. But Elijah Wan, for example, your mother has never even been a wife. She was a baby mama. So why is it that you feel your wife has to live up to this ideal? The reasoning behind that is simply this. He wants what he did not have. He wants what he saw on TV or what he saw in some of his friends' lives. He treats women that way because he has underlying unresolved resentment towards his mother for not providing him with a lifestyle that he feels he should have had in terms of having a two-parent household. So now he expects women to bow down and be subservient and cook and clean like it's 1950. And I will say this about that, kind of thing that goes along with the men. Are you providing in a 1950s way that allows your wife to only cook and clean? Because that's what women were doing back then, because that's all they had to do. They had husbands who brought home the bacon, so they cooked it. But you want women to be subservient, to cook, to clean, but then pay 50%. That's not how that works. And so with Jasmine and Michael, I don't really see it for them. I don't think they'll really do anything. I don't think it'll be anything worthwhile. Um, I think that they're just gonna, fade away eventually. If they do say yes, they're not gonna stay married long because neither one of them know who they are. So let's get to the train wreck. Um, Alyssa and Chris, girlfriend. I don't know who you think you look like, but You do not look like what you're trying to require. And one thing I will say about looks fade, looks change over time. You can get into an accident where you're burned all over your body. You no longer look like yourself. When you have children, your body changes. This man treated her well. And on the after show, Elijah said it best. He had some corny friends that said some corny mess, and she took that because she was looking for a reason to have a way out. Instead of owning up and saying, I'm not attracted to you, I think you're ugly, I don't like your teeth. And the person that married them said something on Twitter. He was like, teeth can be fixed, but attitudes cannot. And I 100% agree. Teeth can be fixed. You can get Invisalign, you can get veneers, but that nasty, ugly attitude she has, that's why she's single. That's why she's alone. And you want to talk about looks? Let's break down Alyssa's looks. Her hair is lackluster. She has two chins. She has an ugly personality, and she has no fashion sense. And so, therefore, this man was trying to give you leeway. He was trying to make you comfortable. And I like that he called her to the carpet and called out her gaslighting. And I like the fact that Keisha Knight Pulliam called her out on it. And she was like, well, it was because he told my mom and then what we had talked about. I don't see anything wrong with what he said to your mother. Maybe she got on to you for your treatment of him and you just didn't like that. Or the fact that he put out the narrative that's the truth, that you didn't like him. And his friends are not his friends, they're haters. Because no real friend would put you out there like that, even if what they said was true. And my thing is, why didn't she just confront him and ask him about that? And I'm of the belief I'm gonna take you at your word until you show me otherwise. Because this is how I feel about it. A man could be a cheater, he could be a manipulator, he could be all these things with one woman. But the next woman, he could treat her like gold. He could do her, the best of the best because that is what she requires of him. And if he wants to be with her, he's going to meet and match that standard and exceed it at times. So for me, I don't really, I'm good on it, like completely good on it. Um, the way she showed out just was terrible. I feel as though in situations like this, they should be allowed to leave, and she should not get paid, and he should. Um, so I think that's everybody. With Alyssa and Mark, Stephen Noy, Elijah Juan and Katina, Mark and Lindsay. So yeah, I think it's yeah. What is this? Let's see. We're gonna remove that. Yeah. I mean, overall, I think it's going to be a good season. I think it's going to be one to watch. I think it's going to be one for the books. But I don't feel that Alyssa and Chris are going to be this season's Jamie and Doug, because what won Jamie over was the stability and the family lifestyle that Doug could provide her, because she grew up in dysfunction and she craved that family life. Alyssa has friends, she has family, and so therefore, and the fact that she bought 10 wedding dresses shows that she is not decisive about anything. She cannot make a decision. And people like that will always be alone because they nitpick and they find reasons to leave. And I do think she's a genuine case of anxiety, but I love that she tried to do the whole crying in the whole bed with Keisha Knight Pulliam, but what she forgot was Keisha Knight Pulliam is Rudy Huxtable. She's America's sweetheart. She couldn't gaslight her the way that Beth did Kevin Frazier during the North Carolina episode of the reunion. She can't do Rudy Huxtable that way. So she had to walk off. Keisha's tone was very calm, very soothing, very like, I'm going to give you a chance to tell your side. Like, we want to give the viewers who you really are. And she could not do that. And so, tough breaks for her. But girl, you missed a good one. And I'm sure that there are people sliding in Chris's DMs. Now, do I think he could be condescending? Yeah, probably. But most people can be condescending. I think it's just a matter of compromise and conversation. But I mean, that's pretty much what I have for you guys. I will be doing Sister Wives. I skipped last week because of technical difficulties, but I will be doing Sister Wives. If there's any other show that you would like me to do a live stream review about, please let me know. I'm thinking about doing I Am Shawn Away. I'm thinking about doing 90 Day Fiance. I don't really know. But that's it for me, guys. See you next time. Oh, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.